is looking at you, kid.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
21 gigawatts!
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense. All I'm offering is the truth.
You can't handle the truth, but they'll never take our freedom!
So you grew up the ring.
Hey, Peter Parker.
La-di-da, la-di-da.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here's Johnny!
Houston, we have a problem.
I like it.
I'm gonna make him an offer again with you.
You talking to me?
Bueller. It's in the hole!
That ain't no way for no human to leave.
Say hello to my little friend!
I'm the dude.
Hasta la vista, baby.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
He's alive!
$1 million.
You want the moon?
First rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
Are you not entertained?
Bond. James Bond.
May the force be with you.
I am so glad you are here with us today as we begin our brand new series of At the Movies 2021. I hope you enjoy this series the way I enjoy this series. I'm a big movie fan. And I love movies, and I love to look at the deeper meanings and the symbology of the stories and those kinds of things. And I love God, and I love His Word, and I am a student of the culture. I try to watch what's going on. So I hope you sit back, enjoy this series. I just kind of want to introduce the whole topic before we get going. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? One is movies in a culture that tells stories constantly through video games and through film and through song. We are a people that learns better through story. And so I want to use that to present the truths of God. This is also a great time to invite guests. Just like, hey, my church, whether you're online or in person, hey, my church is doing something cool. We're showing movie clips and looking what the Bible has to say. And come on over and join us in that. This is also just a way to discern our culture and be able to communicate in our culture on themes and topics that the world is very familiar with. So I like to redeem my entertainment, and so that's one of the reasons I got into this whole thing. But you'll notice in this series that some movies they have one main focus, and I'll be focusing on that one major theme. Maybe the movie isn't really deep in the sense of overt spiritual connotations, but it can have a theme that has application through Scripture. Other movies, on the other hand, can have significantly deep meanings. They're just so rich, and if you don't realize it, you can just gloss over all the symbolism. For example, Star Wars. Star Wars is everybody has seen Star Wars. But did you know that George Lucas, he used Joseph Campbell's monomyth in helping him write the stories? Well, Joseph Campbell is a guy that's taken faith and themes of faith and tried to congeal them into this myth type thing, similarities of religions and those kinds of things. And so that's why we can see in Star Wars these stories of evil and good and right and wrong and the force and the power and various things like that, because it's motivated through sometimes the Scripture. So anyway, some movies are rich with meaning and some just have one major point. We'll do both in this series. Let me give you an example. Sixth Sense, which was an amazing movie but done by M. Night Shyamalan. But the theme of that movie is what you see is not always actually as it is. And M. Night Shyamalan does that in many of his films. Is you're watching something, assuming something, and you come to find out that it means something else, or it's a different setting or situation. And so there's that. So you have a major theme. Then there's other movies like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, it's just rich with all kinds of meaning and biblical truth and symbolism and types of Christ. The author was a Christian, and he didn't do a direct allegory, but he used types and shadows and those kinds of things. So anyway, those are deeper. We'll probably do some of that too in this series, where we dig in deeper to some of the symbols and that kind of thing. So I'm trying not to do too new of films because you haven't had an opportunity to view them yet. And I also try to do movies that maybe are easily watchable by you. Maybe you can stream them before you listen to the message or watch the message. And so that's kind of how I've chosen some of these films. I have one fairly new one and a few a little bit older. But some of the films we're going to be looking at in this series are Crazy Rich Asians. I've been wanting to do this. It's one of my favorite rom-coms. We're going to do It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the story, a film about Mr. Rogers. We're going to do a film called Yesterday. You may or may not have heard of that. It wasn't a big box office. We're going to look at my favorite film from last year. And I'm pretty sure most of you you haven't even heard of this. And the film was called Minari. And I'm excited about that one. That one has all kinds of symbolisms and points and things, so I'm going to enjoy that. And then today, we're going to start with a softball for me, and that is we're going to look at Avengers End Game. I'm starting on a super easy one because superhero films are just so ripe for the gospel. And for biblical teachings, and we'll talk about that. But let me give you an example. Why in the world, in my lifetime, in my adult lifetime, has there been 4 reboots of Spider-Man? Spider-Man, I mean, you have all these different reboots, and they're trilogies also, not just the one movie, but trilogies, and it's being done 4 times so far. So why? Well, let me tell you this. Think about this, because the story is this. A down-on-his-luck nobody is just living his life, trying to be happy, trying to love his family, and make a buck. But something happens. He encounters something otherworldly or supernatural, if you would, and that event sets him apart as someone very special and unique. And as a result of that, his whole life is transformed. He has a new identity. He has new powers. And then, as a result of the new identity and new powers, he begins to play a significant role in defeating evil and taking care of the people that he loves. And so that's why superhero movies are so readily remade and made into big universes, because the very core concepts of salvation and protection and good and evil, darkness and light are just permeated through those stories. And so that brings us to today and our message, Avengers End Game. Thanks for joining us.